Hello and welcome to the Rising Generation Leadership Podcast with me, Errol Lawson. If this is your first time joining us, we want to welcome you. It's great to have you with us today. The Rising Generation exists to inspire and equip Christian leaders from all walks of life, from all around the world, to fulfill their God-given potential. By hearing these interviews with established, internationally recognized leaders, we hope you'll be inspired to connect the dots between where you are now and where it is God has called you to be. Now, to receive notifications about future episodes, simply subscribe to our podcast show by either on iTunes if you're on Apple, or on Stitcher, the Stitcher app if you're on Android. You can find out how to do that just by going to our webpage at www.errollawson.com/podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please share it with your friends, share it with your loved ones. Hopefully they will also benefit from the content. Guys, thanks for listening. Before we go into today's show, here's some news for you.
At some point in their lives, every great leader runs up against one problem that is simply impossible to ignore. How are they going to fund their vision? Today, Errol is offering you a free copy of his first book in the Rising Generation Leadership series entitled Big Vision, No Money: 5 Keys to Funding Your Vision. In the book, you'll find guidance from some of the great leaders featured on this podcast about the way Christian leaders should think about money and approach their finances. Simply go to www.errollawson.com to download your copy today.
Hello and welcome to the podcast today, broadcasting from the KPMG building here in Birmingham today with my very good friend Action Jackson. If you don't know already, get to know Action Jackson, motivational school speaker, author, legend in the school speaking business, marathon runner, so much more. Action, great to have you today. How you doing?
It's great to finally have sort of met you face to face again and just be in the same building.
You know,
pleasure.
Give us a bit of insight into, fill in the gaps in your bio first of all. Give some insight into what you're up to right now in the world.
Okay, well, right now my whole passion and has always been is youth empowerment.
Right.
You know, the song that says, I believe the children are our future, teach them well, help them lead the way. And the future starts now, and it starts with our young people. That if we can begin to instill greatness in them, they're going to be great, and our future is going to be great.
Amen.
So right now, I'm just currently sort of working on stabilizing the team, because the mission now is taking our young people from good to amazing.
Right.
Because good is not good enough anymore. They need to be amazing so that they can do amazing things in the world.
Amen.
You know, so that's
how did it all start for you? Like, where did it begin? What were you doing beforehand? How did you transition into what you're doing right now?
Okay, so before I used to do sort of odd jobs when I was at college, worked at Burger King for 3 years. I used to coach basketball, and I listened to Les Brown.
Right.
Les Brown said, find something you love doing and get someone to pay you for it. Right. I thought, that sounds good. I love it, I'm getting paid. And I started I thought, what do I love doing? I love talking. And I looked at him, I thought, I want to do what he does. And by doing that, I started sort of really touching lives and changing lives. And I realized that by doing this, it was fulfilling for me, and it was fun at the same time. I didn't do it for money. I did it for the fun factor, and that really, really empowered me to be able to sort of set the company up and then go off and just inspire kids across the UK and around the world now.
Wow, we love Les Brown.
Yes.
Was there like a turning point for you on your journey where maybe you were heading in one direction and then something happened and you started to go into a different direction?
I think at the end of university, I was like, what do I want to do next? You know, I've always wanted to be an actor as well, but I never pursued it because I didn't think I was good enough. But the turning point for me was when, after university, I did a mechanical engineering degree at uni, and I realized that, do I want to do this for the rest of my life? I want to do something that's fun, and I think God has placed in us all a gift that we're supposed to come to this planet to deposit, and that sort of was my compass, the gift that's within me. And so the turning point was literally after university and reading all these leadership and business books to say, you know what, I want that world because it's different to the 9-to-5 boring world. You know.
Wow. And what book in particular was there a book that stood out for you at that time?
Around that time, Unlimited Power by Tony Robbins.
Okay.
Was one of those books. And also Les Brown's book, Live Your Dreams.
Okay.
That's a really powerful book.
Brilliant book.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest challenge for you on your leadership journey so far?
Wow. The biggest challenge is to recognize that I don't have all the answers. That there are other people that have the answers as well. And that, you know, if we come together, we can fly higher. You know, so it's just getting over myself, getting over my ego, and realize that it's not just about me, it's about we. That, you know, I might not know anything, in the mathematics of leadership, it's not 1 next to 1 is not 2. 1 next to 1 is 11.
Right.
We've got to see it that way. When 2 people are standing together, it's not just 2 people. You can have the multiplier effect of 11 people, depending on how you work together. So getting over myself.
What was the lesson there for you in that? Like, how have you, in facing that challenge, what have you learned?
I've learned to just be secure with who I am and the gift that I have to the world. Because I think, most of us compare ourselves to other people, and that is the number one thing that you can do to damage your confidence, is when you compare your performance to another person. You've been called to this planet to run a race in your own lane. But when you watch the next man's lane, you're going to be distracted from what you're supposed to do. So the biggest lesson is know who I am, know the God that sent me to this planet, to then stay in that lane and to run my own race as fast as I can run it.
It's good.
That's it.
And at this stage now, I won't say how long you've been in this thing, but it's a long time you've been doing this. You've become a master at it almost, in a sense. How do you now define success at this stage in your journey?
I think for me now, success is being able to do good, have fun. Doing good and having fun. And when I mean doing good, it's like who have I been called to serve, and making sure that I serve them sincerely. So success for me is walking in total integrity. That you're true to yourself. You're true to everything that you know is right. Not to say one thing and do another. I've always lived on the foundation of integrity. My company is based on 4 pillars, and it's called LIFE, L-I-F-E, and the L is love. We must love each other, care for each other. The I is integrity, walk in integrity. Those are the unseen characteristics. And the seen characteristics, which is the F, is focus. Whatever you do, have 100% focus on it. And then finally, the E is walk with excellence. Let people see you and know that that person is a different standard. And that's my foundation.
It's great.
Yeah.
And I think it was John Maxwell that said that the secrets of success are hidden in our daily routine. Typically speaking, what does the first 90 minutes of your day look like?
Wow. Okay. So I'll confess that it's not every day I do this, but when I'm on the roll, it's a 5:30 wake up call, and 5:30 the first hour is prayer. So I'm praying for the first hour. After that, it's 30 minutes of reading. And it stretches into another 30 minutes of exercise. So I'm dealing with the mind, the body, and the spirit. So I'm praying, I'm reading a book that's going to empower me, and I get out there and get the body in shape. Because once you get the body in line with the mind,
Yes.
So the first 19 minutes of my day is shaped like that.
Are you seriously fired up about growing as a leader in business or church-based ministry? Are you feeling somewhat frustrated about not having realized your full potential in what you've been called to do? Could you do with someone to help you get some extra clarity, or to be a sounding board for your plans and ideas? Great athletes have coaches, so do great leaders. The right leadership coach for you will result in an increased sense of clarity, direction, and purpose, dramatically increasing the results you achieve. If you're ready to step up, contact Errol to book a free, no-obligation, introductory coaching session and see whether Errol is the right coach for you. Errol takes the lessons learned from his own leadership journey and from his extensive research to help leaders and entrepreneurs to step into their biggest challenges and rise to their next level. Email admin@errollawson.com right now to schedule your call.
What other habits have you kind of adapted into your life that have contributed towards your success up to now?
I think who you follow determines what follows you. So I try to change my group of friends every 3 months.
Wow. Tell us about that. Like what?
Every quarter.
What do you mean by change your friends?
So if I'm in a group of friends and I'm the smartest in the group, if after 3 months I'm the smartest in the group, then I need to change. So if you're not challenging me, you're not changing me.
Right.
And growth requires change. And change requires you to be challenged. So I find people who are better than me, smarter than me, greater than me. So I go and hang around with them. Right. If it costs me money to hang around with them, then guess what? I'm going to pay the money to be around those people, because I know that I can only be pulled to my higher self if someone is better than me. I used to play basketball growing up. And I would play these young sort of year sevens, and I feel good scoring, but I never improved because I was playing people who were worse than me. But when I played people who were way better than me, I worked harder, I thought harder, I came away angry, and I wanted to improve my game. And that's the philosophy behind it. Hang around people who challenge you to a next level, not people who make you feel comfortable.
Right, it's big.
You know,
that's big,
it's
bro.
Crucial.
As a leader, what's your biggest weakness as a leader?
I would say because I'm so passionate and driven and I see goals, it's like consistency can be the number one downfall. Consistency. If you can master the art of consistency, you know, you get a lot more done. Because I'm so passionate, I might be working on one idea 1 minute and I'm loving it. I see everything about that idea. And the next second, another idea will pop into my head and I'm on to that next one. So in the space of about a month, I could be working on 12 ideas.
Right.
And by the end of 3 months, nothing is birthed yet because I've divided myself.
Right.
So focus on consistency.
Right. And your biggest strength?
My biggest strength is my passion and my energy.
Right.
No man's can.
It's like a double-sided coin, isn't it? That
Yeah.
passion and energy is a strength.
Yeah. You know, so my passion, and when I walk into the room, I bring life into the room.
Yes.
When I speak about something, I know that I am like the mouthpiece of God.
Right.
You know, so my energy definitely, wherever I go and whatever I do, I know that there's a greater force in me that's working through me.
Amen.
That allows me to really transform a room.
Wow.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of your journey in this role, in what you're doing right now, what, if anything, was holding you back? If anything at all was holding you back, what was it?
It's the false knowledge of the fact that I didn't have everything I needed. But the truth was, everything I needed was within me and around me. I just needed to look. You know, so you might be thinking, I don't have this, I don't have that. You just needed to ask. So at the beginning, I think lack of resources and lack of this and the false sense of lack. But the truth is, you're just one question away from your answer.
Right.
And nowadays, there's Google. You can Google the CEO of a big company if you wanted to. You can LinkedIn that person and ask a question. And here's one thing: great people love being asked questions.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to ever ask someone great a question. They buzz from it. You know. So that's one thing I've learned. Don't concentrate on lack. Believe that there's enough around you and within you, and then use that to kind of go out there like a bulldog. The worst you can get is no.
It's good, man. And you know, if you can remember, who are your top 3 mentors that in your life up to now? Who've been your top 3 mentors?
First would be my dad.
Okay.
He's always played a role of leadership. So he kind of like subconsciously brainwashed me into the fact that, hold on, he's a leader, so I have to be a leader.
Okay.
There's nothing else I'm going to be. So every position I've played has just been leadership. So he's been my great drive. So that's my sort of on-earth mentor. The other one is Christ. You know, I've received Christ into my life, and Christ lived a life of love and contribution. Christ came to give and to transform. And that for me is a very, very crucial thing. So I follow Christ to the T in terms of what he came to do and what he's still doing till today. And then the third one, I would actually say Tony Robbins.
Okay.
Because he's a guy that's committed to giving and transforming lives. But one thing I admire about him is the fact that he's committed to mastery, not dabbling. He masters his craft so he can give you the best.
Right.
If he's going to give you water, he will make sure that he'll dig deep as far to go and get the purest water so that you can be well quenched with what he's given. So I'm modeling after that.
That's 3. So let me dig a bit deeper into those relationships. Let me ask you, what's the best piece of advice those 3 individuals have each given you? So your dad first of all, then Christ, then Tony Robbins.
My dad has always said, he does this thing whereby he would wake up and he'll wake up in his bed and he'll sit up. And for the first 15-20 minutes, he's just taking stock. He always takes stock. He's always aware. He's always sort of, you know, what's happening, and he's very aware. So he's taught me to really take stock of my life. Where am I? Where do I need to be? What do I need to do? You know, he's got a good sense of that. Christ, you know, Christ has said, I have come that they might have life and have it more abundantly. And for me, that lesson is the fact that, you know, there's greatness in me, and I can go and serve that greatness to the world. So by Christ dying for others, he taught me to be able to die for others, that to look beyond my own need and to give to others more than they can ever give to me.
Amen.
You know, that's so key. And Tony Robbins, For him, he just says, commit to mastery. Don't dabble, commit. And he's committed, and I'm committed to making our youth amazing generation. That's my passion.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people listening now would have seen that there's a podcast out with Action Jackson. And they probably want to be school speakers themselves as well, or they'd like to get involved in working with young people in schools. Just speak to them briefly about getting started. Like, where should they begin? Maybe there's someone, they're a youth worker in their church, maybe they're just someone with a passion for young people, and they've got in their heart to actually to take their passion into the school setting and reach them, but they have no idea where to begin.
I think it's, start where you are, start where you're at with what you have and with who you are connected with. I think before we go and transform the world, we need to first of all transform ourselves. And if they're listening to me right now, there's a story that they've got. There's a journey that they've been through, so they can use their pain to help somebody else progress.
That's great.
So first of all, document the journey you've been through and a lesson that somebody else would have been able to learn from. So you can ask yourself this question: what advice would I have given to my 16-year-old self? And then give it to the 16-year-old now. And then if you've had, write a list, and then find a 16-year-old and teach them and mentor them and give them 6 months to transform. And that's where the job begins. And then all you do is you take the results you got from that one person, you take it to a school setting, you just give it to 100 kids. And then that school loves it, take it to another school, and then another school, then you build a website, then you do a YouTube channel, and before you know it, you're touring with Errol and Action Jackson, doing the big talks. You know what I mean? The Avengers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's great.
So,
it's great. It's great advice, guys. Actually, where do we find out more about you? Where do we go? Want to find out?
Yeah, so I live on Twitter at Action Jackson. I'm on Instagram as well at Action Jackson Live. The website is www.fixupseminars.co.uk. That's where me and the team, that's where we live online. But most importantly, the YouTube, you can get to see the visual stuff. It's youtube.com/Action Jackson Live as well.
Brilliant. Yeah, Action, thank you for your time today, brother.
Pleasure.
It's been great. It's been inspirational. And go check out Action's website. Go and check out the Fix Up team. See what they're doing in schools across the UK and in other countries around the world as well. Dubai recently.
And India.
Guys, this is how it's done, all right? So if you're listening and you're saying, I want to become a leader of young people in a wider context, go and check out the Fix Up team. Check out Action Jackson on YouTube and be inspired. God bless you. We'll see you next time.
Take care.
Thank you again for joining us today on the Rising Generation Leadership Podcast. I pray you've been inspired, you've been lifted, you've been encouraged to take your personal leadership to the next level. We really encourage you guys to just take action, make it happen, do something, start somewhere, go out and change the world in some way, big or small. Guys, if you've enjoyed the podcast today, please share with your friends, share with your loved ones, your colleagues, someone out there you think might benefit from hearing this great content. And if you want some more questions answering, you got a question, email me, Errol@errollawson.com. Or if you want a free 30 to 45 minute coaching session with myself around a leadership challenge or issue you're working on in your business, your church, or in your organization, please feel free to email me right away or get you booked in. It's Errol@errollawson.com. Thank you again for listening. Go to our iTunes page, check it out, check out the previous episodes. Give us a nice review, that would be awesome. Really appreciate if you could do that for us. We really appreciate you just for being here and listening. Thank you so much. God bless you, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Rising Generation.